All right, welcome back. Hopefully, my audio is loud enough. It's definitely loud enough for my own ear. So, here we are. This is going to be first in. We need to make a playlist called Delayed Reaction. This is our delayed reaction, or our delayed reaction video to this movie, Ant-Man 3. So, I finally saw it on Disney Plus, and man, it was a lot, a lot to take in. And let me explain. Um, I didn't, in true Dork Dad fashion, I didn't make any notes, but let's just talk about what happened in this movie. So I'm sure everyone's seen it by now, but Hank Pym, or not Hank Pym, man, Scott Lang is living large after Endgame. He has booked a book deal, and everyone loves him. But his daughter has troubles with the law, like getting in trouble with, I guess, trying to liberate people. Um, So Scott picks her up. This is a lot of the intro. Scott picks her up and he has a chat with Hope and her parents. And everyone, I don't understand this trope, but everyone is on not Scott's side. So Scott's daughter, I don't even know her name, but Cassie. But I don't get it. Like, Cassie is just very uh, kind of annoying. Like, she always puts, and everyone else puts Scott down. I think, I don't know if she actually calls him Scott, but puts him down a lot. Everyone's on her side, and Hank Pym is has been helping her in some fashion with like education and stuff. So she has made a communication device with a quantum realm. They all get sucked in, even though what's her name? Pym tells her not to, but then it's too late. They get sucked down, they get split up. Kang's down there, and what's her name says that she met Kang, but she didn't realize she was evil at the time. So then it's like too late, and they have to what get back together. Janet Janet Van Dyne. Okay, well I thought her last name was Pym. Anyway, they have to form back together, and yada yada yada. They just Ant Man defeats Pym, which or defeats Kang, which I would think would be a Thanos like threat where he. I mean, now we don't know if he's actually taken down, but I thought we would have seen him live, but then we just see alternate Kangs. So um, the two parts about this movie that I was a note, not just two. It's like the intro was very rushed. The protagonist is put down. Everyone mocks that he is famous and has this book deal, but he was the one that kind of brought up the idea of time travel, tested it out, gave everyone the suit, right? And they all, with Bruce Banner and Iron Man, were able to put the whole time travel together. So honestly, I'm like, he could retire from avenging if he wanted to, but everyone's like, well, what have you done for us lately? And I'm like, okay, if you want to give the hero something to overcome, I guess that's it, but you really just like force it in there. Uh, and Kang, I get, you know, Jonathan Majors did a good job acting, I feel. And I get that he's supposed to be menacing, but there I'll get to the like climax fight at the end, but there are times when I'm like, I don't really understand how powerful you're supposed to be. Um I don't get it. So there is early on when they get down to the quantum realm, there's a lot of like just straight up people there, like humans. and Bill Murray's there, and they're like, "Oh, what's a human? I've heard of them." And I'm like, "What? You're kind of one." I thought it was like people had been sucked down, but I guess they had been there already. Still don't really know how. Oh, well, I guess they explained for King, he was sent to the quantum realm because there would be no way out. And luckily, um, Janet helped him get a way out. But so, King wants his ship back because Janet destroyed it, asks Ant Man to get it, and I'll give your daughter back. For whatever reason, you know, Ant Man does it, but then Kang just goes back on his word. I don't really know why. Then Ant Man, Hope, and Hank's ants go and like start decimating the city. Uh, with Kang, there was a moment where when he asked Ant Man to help him, he was like tossing him around with the Force like nothing, like squeezing um, Cassie, like going to crush her, lifting up Ant Man like it's nothing. But then when Ant Man comes to fight, he is like Kang is like visibly scared. I'm like, go out there and do what you just did, like an hour ago in the movie. Pick him up, toss him around, crush him, and like same with Cassie. Uh, so Scott is like getting into the city, and Kang is scared. Kang hops down, and with all the freedom fighters versus Kang's troops, Kang, and I think, I didn't know this, but it's just because his suit is powerful. I thought he had the power, but I guess he's just really smart. But he has this super suit. He gets down there with his arm lasers and literally starts vaporizing people, and I was like, wow, okay, this guy's serious. And again, I still don't know why he was afraid of just tall Ant Man. Also, with this, and I watched Black Adam. Just because you get bigger, do bullets not have any effect anymore? Like Adam Smasher was getting shot, and he just kind of would block things. Ant Man is just like, oh, bullets. Anyway, Kane gets down, starts vaporizing, and I kid thee not, the three protagonists walk up to Kang, and as soon as they get close, he just stops. He just stops. Like he never uses his arm lasers again. I think he does, but Ant Man is big, and then it has no effect on him. Or Cassie is big and has no effect on her. I don't understand the power level here. Um, so they beat up. The ants come, take away Kang. There's another character in here I'll get to in a second, but they take him away, and it's like, yeah, it's over, portal, and then Kang's not dead. Now, this is when the suit thing again. Kang shoots a shot at Ant Man, but Ant Man saves Hope, and the suit for Kang doesn't work anymore. So then they just start like fighting, and I'm like, Kang is just a person. Like, if Ant Man had a gun, he could just shoot Kang in the head, and that'd be the end of the Kang saga or whatever we're doing here. But they're just like fighting, and then Kang gets sucked out into the quantum shrinker thingamajiggy. Same thing that happened to the Hornet, Yellow Jacket. Sorry, and that's it. And then Scott and everybody comes back, but Scott's like, we defeated him, right? That's it, right? And then we have the end credits with the multiple Kangs. Everyone thinks the actual Kang Destroyer is gone, even those Kangs, but they're not too sure. And then there's another end credits with basically the Loki show season 2 with a vision of Kang, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting because we see Kang in like maybe it's like the early late 1800s. I'm like, cool. So this was the original guy that kind of somehow it splits up into the multiverse, or maybe that's the actual Kang, the evil one, and multiverse yada. So that actually seems interesting. Um, it's just like the power levels in this, man. And then finally, we're gonna get to MODOK, which, as far as I knew, so I remember MODOK being teased. Then what leaked was Darren's head, and everyone. people, I'm a normie, but everyone normie I see on Facebook is like, well, he's kind of been a goofy character this whole time anyway. And I'm like, not as bad as the movie makes it. Yeah, I don't know if they just kind of got that from Wikipedia or that's their justification that they're regurgitating, but he is such an insult. He might as well not even be another villain. Like he's just like a, and I know he looks weird, but you need to add the tragedy, or I think he was like actually created, but add the tragedy of that character. Not just oh he looks funny, so we're gonna make him a joke the entire time and have it be Darren and have him just be like, hey, it's me. Remember me? Hi, Cassie, you've grown up. And it just, Marvel. I understand there's humor there, but it really just like takes you out of the movie. At least it did for me. But man, so that's your Modoc. Cassie just like wipes the floor with him, and then I'm gonna keep this family friendly, but she punches him as her way of defeating him, and just says, "Just don't be a D." And he's like, "Ah, yeah, I won't be." And then he comes to help fight Kang, screaming, "My name is Darren." And before this, he would say, "I'm not Darren. I'm only Modoc." Now he says, "I am Darren, and I am not a D." And an explosion happens, and he dies. And even in his death, he's like, Ant-Man, touching his face. At least I died an Avenger. I'm like, this is so painful. And that is the only, I subscribe to a few guys that are actually comic book readers. I'm not, but that's going to be your only MCU entry from Modoc. That was your chance, and that's the end of it. And man, like that's just like something that could have been used a lot better. And for anyone that actually knows the character, they just get insulted because we're the MCU and everything's got to be funny, whatever. So yeah, Modoc was annoying, but the other thing is when back when it was 2012 and there were hints of Thanos on from there, and you kept seeing glimpses more and more. That was like this ominous presence in the background. Now we get Kang introduced. I know it's a variation. Kang introduced in a TV series, the real version put in a movie, and the first time you see him in the movie, he gets defeated. And I'm like, you better have some serious plan with all those other variations because it reminds me of OT Star Wars versus sequel trilogy, where you had Darth Vader looming, 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 and he didn't get defeated until the third movie. Sequel, you had what was supposed to be the bad guy, Kylo Ren, gets defeated in the first movie. So I'm like, why should I be afraid of you? Because if your suit doesn't work, Ant-Man could just maybe Ant-Man. But if it was like two people, like if Hope had come back, they could defeat you if you didn't have your suit. And that's the end. So that's my gripe. Like I you know I like Paul Rudd, and I have liked Ant Man. Like I think a lot of people still like Ant Man the character in the MCU, but this movie was just not the way to go about things. To I would say set up Kang. So I don't know what they're going to do in the future. Nobody does, but I am probably just shooting myself in the foot because I'm going to watch more of it. Dork Dad Sam still hasn't seen this, so this is going to be a really delayed reaction for him. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe and do all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.